Hello everybody, my name is Ryan Gest, and welcome back to the Decision Desk HQ YouTube channel. I'm here to preview the Chicago mayoral election scheduled for February 28th. Now before we get started, please make sure to subscribe to the channel down below and turn on notifications so you never miss a video as we ramp up content ahead of the 2024 election cycle. On February 28th, Lori Lightfoot will compete against 8 challengers in the first round of Chicago's nonpartisan 2023 mayoral election. If no candidate wins a majority of the vote, then the top 2 candidates from the first round will compete in a decisive runoff election on April 4th. With Lightfoot struggling to keep her approval rating afloat, she is highly unlikely to win a majority of the vote in the first round. And although she is heavily favored to at least make that runoff election, she could be in trouble as anti-Lightfoot voters will have the opportunity to unite around a common candidate. The incumbent will be pushed the hardest by 4 challengers: Congressman Jesus Chuy Garcia, Cook County Commissioner Brandon Johnson, businessman Willie Wilson, and perennial candidate Paul Vallis, who has served in numerous public school administrative roles. Unlike in the recent New York City mayoral election, there are fewer distinctions in the political ideologies of these 5 competitors. While all of the candidates are left-leaning, none seem to associate with the progressive wing of the Democratic Party. The city of Chicago is the 3rd largest city in the US. An ethnically and culturally diverse metropolis, Chicago is one of the most democratic areas in the entire country. The mayoral election is nonpartisan, but given that Joe Biden won approximately 82% of the city's vote in 2020, all of the candidates will be unofficially aligned with the Democratic Party. The city consists of 3 major coalitions, each of which make up almost an equal third of Chicago's population: white, college-educated voters, Black voters, and Hispanic voters. Asian voters and white non-college educated voters could be a decisive bloc in a close election, but lack the electoral prowess to boost a candidate into the runoff election unilaterally. Now, most candidates attempt to pursue one of these 3 major coalitions of voters, hoping to dominate among them and win enough general support across the city to make it to the runoff election, where anything is possible. Now let's dive into the candidates. Preceding her first term as mayor, Lori Lightfoot served 3 years as the president of the Chicago Police Board after former mayor Rahm Emanuel appointed her to the position. Although, like I said, most candidates for Chicago mayor attempt to court specific constituencies in order to power their campaign, Lightfoot won the most consistent support across the city in 2019. She polled near the bottom of the field for the majority of her campaign, but won the first round after an endorsement from the Chicago Sun-Times helped her gain broad appeal across the city. In the end, Lightfoot ran the strongest in the white and well-educated northern side of the city, and she should remain strong with those types of voters. But her success in this election may depend on how well she can court the city's large African-American population on the south and west edges of the city. Next, Jesus Chuy Garcia has emerged as Lightfoot's top challenger and has polled at the front of the field throughout most of the winter. He currently serves in the U.S. House of Representatives, representing Illinois' 4th Congressional District, and is a longtime face and name in Chicago politics. Garcia represents about 14% of Chicago's population and is expected to run very well within the confines of his constituency in the southwest portion of the city. His success on the 28th will be defined by how well he can run in northwest Chicago, with Hispanic voters he does not currently represent. If Garcia is as successful with them as with voters in his own district, he should have a clear path into the runoff. Brandon Johnson has been a member of the Cook County Board of Commissioners since 2018, representing the 1st District, including portions of the city of Chicago as well as some inner western suburbs. Johnson's home base in Chicago will be with African American voters from the western portion of the city, centering on the neighborhoods of Austin and Garfield Park. Johnson describes himself as a progressive and generally positions himself to the left of other candidates in the race, having endorsed Elizabeth Warren's 2020 presidential campaign. He won the endorsements of squad member Delia Ramirez, as well as freshman U.S. Representative Jonathan Jackson, son of Jesse Jackson. He has also enjoyed solid fundraising, but lags behind some of his more established competitors in polling. Businessman Willie Wilson is by far the most conservative candidate for Chicago mayor. Although he describes himself as an independent Democrat, he has stated that he voted for Donald Trump in the 2016 presidential election and has historically opposed LGBT rights. This year is his third campaign for mayor after he narrowly missed qualifying for the runoff election in 2015 and 2019. Wilson is one of the most well-funded candidates in the field and should perform best with black voters in the southern and western portions of the city. Wilson and Johnson should split black voters around the city into more moderate and progressive groups, but could end up drawing enough support from each other that neither of them qualify for the runoff. Paul Vallis is another moderate candidate, challenging Lightfoot from the center and targeting his campaign on the growing crime issues in the city. Vallis has been involved in politics since 2002 when he narrowly lost in the Democratic nomination for Illinois governor. He has welcomed an official endorsement from the Chicago Republican Party and a soft endorsement from former Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner, noting that the election is nonpartisan and that he wants to represent all Chicagoans. Vallis should run well in the more conservative regions in the corner of the city, but to qualify for the runoff election, he will need to exceed expectations with more generally left-leaning educated voters on the north side. Now, as for the more minor candidates in the race, Sophia King currently serves as an alderman for the 4th Ward of Chicago, a South Side heavily black ward including the neighborhoods of Kenwood, Oakland, and Hyde Park. Given that King has much stronger fundraising than other minor candidates, she is currently the favorite to finish in 6th place. Cameron Buckner currently serves in the Illinois House of Representatives, representing neighborhoods close to downtown Chicago. Buckner has been unable to gain enough traction to seriously compete in this race, but could run well within his home district, including downtown, Oakland, and Hyde Park neighborhoods. As such, Buckner's House district does partially overlap with King's home base, the 4th Ward, which will hurt both candidates given their already narrow base of support. Jamel Green is the furthest left candidate in the field and is a well-known Black Lives Matter activist within the city. Green's campaign has failed to gain any traction or notable endorsements, even from national left-wing politicians he stumped for in the past decade. He has also lagged behind in fundraising. Lastly, Roderick Sawyer currently serves as an alderman for the 6th Ward of Chicago, a South Side heavily black ward around the neighborhoods of Chatham and Becks Park. Given that Sawyer has spent the least amount of money out of any candidate in the field, he will struggle to contend for a spot in the runoff. However, he could siphon off enough votes from Willie Wilson in and around the 6th Ward to keep him out of the runoff. And that about does it for the candidates and what to look for as results come in on election night. This race has all the makings of a truly fascinating affair, and you already know that DDHQ will provide the fastest results as returns come in on the 28th. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please make sure to like it down below and hit that subscribe button if you did. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.